Hi everyone, we've just had a really exciting delivery, and if it is what I think it is, then it's something we've been waiting for a long time.
It's me!
And we've got some paper. A lot of paper. Aha, this looks more like it. And a wheelchair. We're really excited to finally have it. It's something we've been waiting a long time to get, so let's have a look. So here she is, looking very shiny. So this is the new wheelchair. This is a custom Monoshock chair from Hands On Concepts. And over here, modelled by Claire, we've got my old wheelchair, which is a Quickie Argon 2.
So some of you will already know about this wheelchair because we've shared it on Instagram. And we've already had quite a few questions from a few of you asking what we think about it. But here on this channel, we don't like to do a review on a product until we've tested it out properly. We like to test things out over a few months or so that we've got a chance to learn about any potential pitfalls or any positives that you don't know straight away. So because of that, we're not going to be reviewing this wheelchair today. We've only just got it. However, we will come back and do a review in a few months' time once we have learned a lot more about it and we've got a much better feel for it so that we can actually give you a proper, accurate review.
So starting with my old wheelchair, the Argon 2. I've had this for about 2 years now, and only because I've had it this long, I felt comfortable enough to go for this one where I could customize pretty much every single aspect of it. This wheelchair is a great first wheelchair. Just about everything is adjustable, but there are some things which I just didn't like about it, so it felt like the right time to upgrade. And I just want to shout out to Colin, who helped me a lot along the way with choosing what I wanted on here and giving me advice. This wheelchair is made out of titanium and carbon fibre. Titanium is very strong, durable, lightweight, hard wearing and corrosion resistant. So hopefully this wheelchair is going to last a long time.
The biggest reason for getting a new chair was to try and help with Craig's posture. So this wheelchair just has a flat base and this backrest, whereas if you look at this one, you'll see that the seat pan slopes down and then it goes flat, and that's called ergo seating. And we're really hoping that that will help to keep Craig's hips in position and help him to sit up a bit better and to be able to balance and lift his hands up without falling forwards.
And the other thing about the seat, which is different to my old wheelchair, is we've made the seat pan out of carbon fibre instead of out of upholstery. Now, one of the big drawbacks of the upholstery base is that over time it can sag into the metalwork underneath, which can be really bad for pressure. On the Argon 2, I had a tension adjustable backrest. This was fine at first, but it very quickly wore out. The backrest poles started poking through the material and the padding went completely flat, and this started giving me a bit of a pressure sore on my back. So on the new wheelchair, I've gone for a rigid, contoured backrest. This will hopefully be a lot better, a lot more comfortable, and give me a little bit of extra support. So that's the first and biggest change we've made to this chair. As we mentioned, this chair is a Monoshock chair. It actually has a suspension component built into the underside of the wheelchair. If I go over a bump or something, it will soften the blow, but it does add extra weight. Going off-road a lot, constantly going over bumps, and this was sending quite a lot of shocks up my back in the old wheelchair. So we thought it was a really good idea, and particularly when I'm going out on my Buttock, going over these bumps at quite a reasonable speed, that should help soften a lot of the blows. And while we're talking about the Buttock, another change I made on this.
So one thing that we've got on this is we've got this Buttock mount here welded right onto this bar of the frame. On the old chair, the Buttock mount was an extra bar which was attached to the chair. So having it welded directly onto the chair means that it's lighter weight, it's stronger, and it can also be set further back, which is better for Craig's legs.
Having a custom wheelchair meant I could make some big improvements to the footplate. Firstly, I made it longer, which means my feet are a lot better supported. Secondly, on my old wheelchair I had a calf strap which held my feet on. This was fine at first, but over time it became tatty and stretched, which meant my feet kept falling off the back of the footplate. So on the new wheelchair I have a metal bar around the back, which should keep my feet on a lot better. And thirdly, it is still compatible with the Freewheel. So for those of you who have seen our Freewheel review video, you'll know that the most annoying thing about the Freewheel for us is the way that it mounts to the chair when you're not using it. It comes with a little attachment which lets you hang it on the back of the chair, but in our experience, this is absolute rubbish. The Freewheel will just wobble around and sometimes even fall off as I was going along. So since Hands-On Concepts are really good at designing custom things, we asked them if they could come up with a better solution. And this is what they came up with. It's a really simple design. It's essentially two metal bars held together at the same width as the footplate. And what this means is that the Freewheel can just be attached onto these bars in the exact same way that it attaches onto the footplate.
There are a couple more differences between this chair and this chair. One of them, which you might notice quite easily, is these side guards here that are fixed in place. So they won't flex out into the wheels and they don't fall off and get lost and generally be annoying.
Another big upgrade we've made on this wheelchair is the brakes. So what we've gone for on this wheelchair are scissor brakes, which just push on and clip off. These ones are metal instead of plastic, so they should be a lot more hard wearing and should last a lot longer before I have to replace them.
Another upgrade we made was the castors and forks. Not only are they blue, but they're also frog legs. Frog leg forks are supposed to have a little shock absorber in them which smooths out the ride as you go along. One request I had for Craig's new chair was in regards to the folding back mechanism. On the old chair it had this really horrible string which always used to snag, and it was so hard to fold it down when I was trying to put it in and out the car. So I asked if he could get something with a rigid bar instead that would be much easier to fold down.
And one final customization we've made to this wheelchair, which is quite uncommon, is to add a pair of removable aisle chair wheels to the back.
So the reason we've got these aisle chair wheels is for the camper van that we're building. So in the camper van there's a really limited amount of space, and we basically wanted to make the walkways as narrow as possible so that we could maximise the amount of storage and stuff that we've got inside the camper van. So by using these wheels here, we can remove the big wheels from the chair, and that makes the wheelchair a little bit narrower so that Craig can still get up and down the camper van, but we can also have a lot of space. If you've got any questions about this wheelchair, then feel free to leave them down below. As we said earlier, we will do a full review on this in a few months' time, but if you've got any questions in the meantime, then feel free to ask them.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to try this new wheelchair out, and hopefully it does everything that we want it to. Fingers crossed, but you'll find out in a few months.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.